Team 1 and 47, I think those are the wheels that came from factory. Team 147, a 38 Chevy Coupe. Paul McGeehan from Haymarket, Virginia is driving. Chris Covington from Austin, Texas is navigating. 38 Chevy Coupe. This car is set up. These boys are rookies, by the way, but they are planning already for their next race, which is exactly what's happening with this car. It is set up ready for the 2025 Peking to Paris rally race. That's a dirt race from Peking to Paris, and they are entrants into that race next year, so they're getting their car out and shaking it down and making sure it holds up.
Absolutely wonderful car, and I misunderstood when he told me that the car was Peking to Paris, that I thought it was a tribute car, an old Chevrolet tribute car. And when I saw it, I immediately had to find him and ask him, because that's not a tribute car. You can tell that that's completely set up to do a serious off-road race. All right, let me take a deep breath here. Behind the Chevrolet here, pull it on up, boys. 1965 Sunbeam Alpine. First things first. Kenneth Arders from Lineville, Pennsylvania, happy birthday to you. It's his 14th, 29th birthday, I'm not sure. I don't know how to guess on the numbers there. Yeah, we'll go with that. Lovely Jen Arders, his navigator. This was Jen's dad's car. And guess what? Is Dad here tonight? Is Dad here tonight? Oh, yay! I heard a yes. Awesome family affair, really cool original paint. 1965 Sunbeam Alpine. They are rookies, having first gotten a taste of the great race rally style at a spring rally back in Michigan a few months ago. Here's Dad right here. Through here, some more rookies. Robert Ty. I'm going to get it right this time. Hang on just a second. Chico Teague, I'm going to say it before I forget it. He reminds me every day, and every day I do not get that right. There are a lot of letters in there. Chico Teague, Virginia. But Robert Ty is driving that car. Thomas Ty from Virginia Beach, Virginia is navigating. That's a 1973 Pontiac Catalina. And like I said, they're the rookies. First time in the great race. Hold on, there's barely any room in that car. How are you going to fit all those people in it? Oh no, they just keep piling. They're on. We need to spend a little more time on this big beast of a car. It is a monster. It's a 1960 Fiat 600 Jolly.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait.
Oh, it about blew me back.
630 cc's of happiness. Paul Bloomfield and AJ out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Absolutely awesome. Family car, 45 years. I told him there were side bets in Owensboro, Kentucky, that thing wouldn't make it out of Kentucky, and he got a really serious look on his face. What's hilarious is that this car hadn't missed a lick.
We've got Team 162, an X-Cup team. This is that team I was telling you about earlier, by the way. This is Dr. Tom Littrow from Galax, Virginia, and Nathaniel Donnelly from Mouth of Wilson, Virginia. Meg Donnelly's walking around here somewhere with Dr. Tom's wife. And this is an X-Cup team. They're out of Virginia. Dr. Tom has been doing this for 15 years, and 14 of those 15 has been an X-Cup. He's had a kid in that navigator seat 14 different years in the great race, and teaching kids how to appreciate cars and how to play this crazy game. In their third great race, Ellen and Steve Austin from Percival, Virginia. Ellen's driving, Steve is navigating. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS Super Sport 454 big block in this car.
Boy, you guys did good at hosting us in Percival for lunch today. It was so good. Out of Ken Walsh's place. This is not just a 70 Chevelle, which happens to be my favorite Chevelle body. It is not just a Super Sport. On him a little bit. This is his fourth great race, so let me do the math. 4 times 18, it's a bunch. I have offered him full original MSRP for this car at every stop for 3.5 years, and he's yet to take my offer. I think it's ridiculous. Ken Kiley from Canyon Lake, Texas, your driver. Mike Roberts from San Antonio, Texas, your navigator. 1968 Super Sport Camaro, sweet little 4-speed Super Sport car here, small block. Father and son-in-law doing the thing. You know, that family's a little bit Camaro crazy. We're going to to get to see another one come through in a little while.
Casually rolling in here in his 1953 Hudson Hornet. Jim Pohl from San Francisco, California is driving. Joyce Mordenti from San Francisco's navigating. The Coups des Alpes team, husband and wife team. Joyce bought this car in 1988, and her dad, Walt, Mordenti actually restored this car, and he was a short track race car driver up in New England. And the cool thing about it is not only did Walt help restore this car, but in honor of Walt, they're kind of going through all past the areas of where he used to race, which is awesome.
Kind of neat. Coming in here, oh my word, how about this 1972 Citroen 2CV. Kirk Weiss from Center Mauritius, New York. James Gibson from Granville, Ohio. They are rookies in a perfectly unique Du Chevaux from Citroen. This is a really neat car. Citroen was actually quite daring back in the day in their design, not just their aesthetic design, but their suspension design. Nothing was sacred, and they came up with some pretty wild cars. The 2CV, legendary in shape, and as my friend Scott likes to say, if they jam the brakes real hard and it goes over, don't worry, it'll flop back on the wheels and they can just hit it and keep on going. All the way from Noonan, Georgia, Olivia and Jenna Gentry, these young ladies, this is Team Sweet Victory Apparel, Grand Championship winners, these young ladies, just back in 2021. I think maybe their third year great racing at that time. They're unbelievable competitors. Olivia, real estate saleswoman down in Georgia. Jenna has a wonderful, cool apparel business. Their whole family likes to short track race. They go all over the country selling apparel, racing cars, and they've not missed a great race in a good long time. All girls team, Scott.
Team 49 coming through. Check this out, 1972 Chevrolet C20. Rookies, Tony Stafford from Ashburn, Virginia is driving. Rick Conrad from Lovettville, Virginia is navigating. This is an original dually option truck. Back in 1972, I don't know how many of those were ever made, but that is a legitimate factory-made dually truck in the rookie division. They have a bunch of Ford's Fish Shacks up there in Virginia, and owner right there.
Yep, if you're looking for some delicious seafood, they got a chain. That dually's very, very unique. Longhorn edition. That's a 402 big block, factory big block truck. You can see the bed extension if you get close to it. That's a dealer installed option. Ford Mustang, very special team here. My friend Shiggy, his daughter Ayako Yasui from Koka City, Japan, ladies and gentlemen, in their 7th grade race together, all the way from Japan to get a cool old American car and go rambling down the back roads. Absolutely love having them there. Shiggy is a dentist. His daughter Ayako is a medical doctor, and they are expert good time havers.
Team 103 in a 1946 Ford Business Coupe. Craig Floyd from Sioux Falls, South Dakota is driving. Sam Barnett from Birmingham, Alabama is navigating. The museum crew, and cool story here, Craig, the driver over there, not only is he driving his father's car that was a hot rod car and still is a hot rod car, but he also has 4 X-Cup teams that he's responsible for here in the race. So that early Ford V8 Foundation Museum in Indiana, amazing museum, amazing crew up there bringing kids in and putting them in the race. We thank them for that, donating those cars to those kids to let them race.
Yeah, let's throw the goal. His daily driver, please welcome Bob Merrick from El Segundo, California. His navigator from Illinois, Jim Caudle. Lost a bet, has to navigate Bob all over the country again. This is a 9th grade race. Jim started back in 2005 as a supporter. 2011 navigated and joined Bob a couple of years ago. It's a match made in heaven. I love these guys. Rumor has it they've got a Studebaker in the works for future great races. Bob has rallied his daily driver 61 Beetle a bunch of races.
One of our sponsors coming through. This is the car I was telling you I was hoping was going to make it in tonight. Vienna Berger from Statesville, North Carolina is driving. Pete Berger from Statesville, North Carolina is navigating the Sportsman division. They came in last year, and Southern Star Distillery from North Carolina is a major sponsor this year. They've got their tent over there. Love this team, love what they've been doing. They've had their tent set up for racers, giving them all kinds of t-shirts and hats and everything else. And this is a 67 Pontiac Bonneville convertible, and husband and wife team. They got the whole crew right in there today. Plenty of room for the crew and the luggage and whatever else you may have back in there. Glad to have you, glad to see you tonight.
Gardiner flathead under the hood. The late Rex Gardiner, a wonderful, great race and all sorts of vintage car rallying guy, was world famous for putting together awesome flatheads. I believe that's either the last or the next to the last flathead that Rex put together. Next to the last. Gary and Jean Ann are expert division competitors. Jean Ann is the winner of the Tom McRae Spirit of the Event Award, which is a huge award we give to somebody for just kind of representing the race the right way. Long time racers, always a competitor. Pretty cool fact about them, they have over the years competed in 3 different cars. They've had top 5 finishes in all 3 different cars. 38 Ford, a 64 Chevy 2, and this 135, a 63 Corvette convertible 4-speed. 5th race together, sponsored by Corvette Central, one of the Coker tire companies. Rick Horn from Port Orange, Florida is driving. Rob Romer from Dudley, Massachusetts is navigating in that 63 Corvette. R&R Racing, and Rob right there is the best navigator. Number 137, John Seltenheim, David Dobish, just some Pennsylvania boys here. John from Lemoyne, David from New Wilmington, 66 Chevrolet Impala Super Sport convertible. My goodness, they needed 2 rows to put all the goodness on here. This car has everything you need, 2 wonderful dudes in it. They are sponsored by the AACA Museum, America's Transportation Experience Museum. Absolutely cool. Come on in here and show it off. Little 327 Impala from 1966. Listen, they went ahead and deleted the hubcaps, so they don't have time to go dig them out of a ditch every time they take a hard left or right. So you will see some hubcaps missing on these cars, especially if it has original caps, rather than have to replace them or they get damaged. Sometimes they just go ahead and pop them off.
Team 96, Dan and Pat Martin out of New Braunfels, Texas. Dan's driving, Pat's navigating a 28 Ford Model A delivery truck, expert division, husband and wife, started great racing in a Corvette and a 48 Olds. Now they're down to this 28 Ford 118 and a 69 Oldsmobile Cutlass convertible in the Sportsman division. Rich Hamilton from Tacoma, Washington's driving. Kyle Skinner from Tacoma, Washington's navigating. This is their 2nd great race together, and they're sponsored by one of our other sponsors, Samuel Smith Old Brewery. And not only are they sponsored by that, but rumor has it they may run that company. So glad they're here.
Mallory has gone out and got her a fiance and said, well, I'll think about it, but first you got to go great racing with me. Jack Fruin, your driver from Birmingham, Alabama. Mallory Henderson from Mobile, Alabama, your navigator. 1964 and a half Mustang to be wed in October, pending the results of this race, of course. Hey, you know, her dad Scott and her did X-Cup for so many years, and there was, I believe it's the Washington Auto Road. I'm not sure.
North American Racing Team, expert division, and these boys know how to do it, flying the nation's flag. They have fun whenever they come around, always smiling, looking cool. If you're going to race, this is the way to do it, and glad they're here. They got some Ace stickers on their truck over the years, and I'm sure they're hoping to get at least one this time.
Romeo Giulietta Veloce Sprint, a 1958 edition. Jamie Nani, Kevin Gross from Scarborough, Maine. Really cool car here. This car from the factory, 1300cc, dual cam, dual carb, kind of a hot little deal. Not very many of these cars made. Pretty rare edition of this car. 10 days before the race, they had a bad oil leak, so they said, well, let's just throw another motor in it. Well, they proceeded to break that motor 2 days later and had to seal up and put the other motor back in.
It's a 26 Ford Model T Speedster, but they saw the race a couple years ago, and Paul decided he wanted to do it. This would be a great father-son thing. He had an old Model A frame and a block, and he built the rest of that car around what he had. All of that body on that car is built from scratch. He bent the metal himself and got that car in here. He said he did a little rundown for a couple weeks before he brought it to the race, and it is surviving so far. It's doing a great job. It'd be fun watching that thing. Of course, we had a couple nights.
Full of water. 1969 Camaro Super Sport. It's a 396 car, a big block car, beautifully restored. Got the right baffled exhaust on it. Tom Kiley from Austin, Texas, your driver. Aaron Roberts, your navigator over here from San Antonio, Texas. This is the Lone Star State bunch here in a beautiful Camaro. He had to jack that thing up in the valet at the hotel the other day, chase down a fuel leak in the back. Didn't slow them down. They have not missed a lick. Absolutely beautiful. Car number 110, Texas bunch here. Won the rookie class last year, so you set the bar kind of high coming out swinging like that. Like you had, partner. Come on in here.
Navigating a 65 Olds 442 convertible in the Sportsman division in the third grade race, and they wanted us to shout out for them. And you know, I know it doesn't happen as often as they would like, but big news for their hometown this year is their home is the home of the World Championship Boston Celtics. So, in case you're into the NBA, that apparently in Boston is a big thing.
Five here, hanging out. All girls team, mother and daughter. Miss Anna Holder, my friend from San Diego, California. Her daughter Della, a student at USC, Los Angeles, California, the navigator, making memories together. A beautiful 1965 Ford Mustang, a little coupe. Come on in here, Anna and Della, and show it off. Anna has done the Great Race 4 times, 3 with her daughter Della, the first time with her dad in a Model 8.
Dan and Katie Rogosich, Rogo Fasteners team from Middletown, New York. Dan's driving, Katie's navigating in a 62 Dodge Dart station wagon in the Sportsman division. They own Rogo Fasteners, the company, their major sponsor of the Great Race from up there in New York. And they've been in business for 32 years, and I believe they bring their dogs to work with them every day.
And that's why I like them. In the entire rally at 114 years old. No, it's not sitting in a museum collecting dust. It's out here doing the thing. It is a 1912 Haynes. Brad Phillips from Salisbury, Maryland. His driver, Dan Stahl from Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan.
Ford Super Deluxe Coupe in the Sportsman division, their third great race. Guy over here in the passenger seat actually races Porsches when he's not in the great race. Very similar, I assume. Same kind of thing, little lower.
Neil Catfish Myerscough from Weeki Wachee, Florida, driving this 34 Ford Indy Racer Bundle Line Special. His daughter, Shanna Banana, his trusty navigator. This is Team Mil-Spec. Welcome to Gettysburg, father and daughter team.
Well, through a little bit earlier, decided they wanted to all get together and do this crazy thing called a race. And Ed knows how to do it in that 64 Jaguar.
That car born July the 4th, 1963 in Coventry, England. So I asked New York, Dominic and Samuel Celia, and my favorite truck in the event, 1952 M37 military truck, beautifully restored by Tucci Hot Rods. Oh my gosh, 4 years they've been on this race, on this awesome truck. Every time, listen up, don't drift away, listen up. Every time they're raising money along the way on the Great Race for a Wounded Veterans Organization. This year, the Purple Heart 409, I believe it is 490. Absolutely wonderful. Put your arms around, give a big old hug to our servicemen and women, especially those wounded in combat. What a little car there, you probably can't even see it. Oh my gosh, we had, since we got a hot second, we had a moment where we had a little 32, 33 hot rod at SEMA show one year. We were taking it into our booth, and our esteemed photographer Tommy Lee Bird was driving it. And I don't know if you guys know much about SEMA show, but there's wild, huge four-wheel drive trucks there. I mean, super huge. And one of them ran over that car because it couldn't see it in the line to bring it into the booth. It just tore the deck lid all to shreds on that car. I just was not, I was not jealous that Tommy Lee had to go back and tell our boss man that his car just got munched in the parking lot. Car number 117. I love this thing. A 1953 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. Bruce Fulke from Ivyland, Pennsylvania. Joe Van Leer from Quakertown, Pennsylvania. Absolutely beautiful Coupe de Ville car. All of this Cadillac, this big beautiful Cadillac, is a coupe. It's a two-door, big two-door hardtop. And you can see, if you're a fan of the evolution of the Cadillacs, and a lot of people automatically think big fans, these are the...
Yourself pretty good though. 3 years in the first grade, you get to be pretty good buddies. Team 7, Aaron and Brad Kaplan from Corona Del Mar, California. Aaron's driving, Brad's navigating a 66 Ford Mustang Coupe. They're sponsored by McAllister's. This is their 10th great race, 45 states they've been in. And a cool story, they were a little nervous right before the race. They were in South Africa, and they were doing a, I guess it was just, I don't know if it was South or North Africa.
It was South regular Africa.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, just Africa. And they were over there for a photography of that.
These lucky jokers here bought this car from the original owner with 30,000 miles in their 4th great race in a 1967 Corvette Coupe. It's a 327, but it's a 350 horse 327 4-speed. Randall and Todd Hendricks from Ormond Beach, Florida, sponsored by the Coker Group family. Zip Corvette. Corvettes are all they do. Absolutely wonderful. Very, very low mileage car still. They're doing what this car ought to be doing out here, running on a great race every year.
They're in the expert division only because Rick has done this before. Sean, the driver, has never been in the great race before, but because of Rick, Sean came in and is now competing in the expert division. So he's learning it quick. He knows how that Indianapolis 500, he's been to 25 of those races, but this is his first great race and he's in the expert division.
Feature Team 44, Bill Jostler from White River Junction, Vermont, the Green Mountain State. Peter Hershey from Hingham, Massachusetts, his trusty navigator. 14 times they've done the great race. Absolutely awesome. Team name is Borrow Time. What a cool body.
A 62 Cadillac 62 Series convertible. We have Bruce Eldridge from Kingston, New Hampshire's driving. Brad Baldwin from North Falmouth, Massachusetts. Falmouth? I don't...
Falmouth. Just say Falmouth. It's
Falmouth. It's not Falmouth.
Falmouth is that other dude.
You get soap in your mouth.
Yeah.
Falmouth, Massachusetts is driving.
Every year. Steve and Janet, wonderful competitors in the expert division, but my favorite thing about them is that they pour themselves into mentor programs for rookie great racers who just don't know which way is up. They have what did I do wrong sessions all the time. I think it's fantastic that they do that. Daughter Allie riding along in the back seat. We had a rare treat with them last night. A former great race car of theirs. The guy who owns it showed up in Frostburg and parked the car under the gate. That was pretty cool.
Fiore, with the greatest mustache in the world, from Winthrop, Maine, is driving. Logan Waddick from Unity, Maine, is navigating in a 54 Packard Caribbean convertible in the rookie division. We love to mention Mike's
Chevy 210 here. Mr. Harvey Lippman in the driver's seat from Manchester, Maine. His grandfather bought this car on the Linway back in '55. In 1971, Harvey took it to college, managed not to completely destroy the car. Here he is a couple of years later with his friend Libby Buxton from Augusta, Maine, doing his very first great race. A family car since new. It shows well. It's got all the love in it. He said his wife was a little bit ticked at him and that he was going to put stickers all over the car because it's made it this far. But why put it in the garage and just tell people you have it? In the Indianapolis 500, there was a Rio Royale. This one built to be a tribute to that car. Charles Harris, Phil Reinhardt, out of the great state of Maine. This is the Maine Boys, team number 2. They've done the race twice before. This, a 140 horsepower car back in 1931. Really cool car.
Behind them in a 30 Ford Model A Roadster, which used to be a pickup truck at one time. Christian Reichart from Santa Monica, California is driving. Bill Novish from Adel, Iowa is navigating. Sportsman in the Sportsman division. And we've decided, they told us that the weight of this car, you know, back in the day we'd chop down cars to make hot rods out of them. That's exactly what this is. 1,980 pounds without them in there. So we decided that depending on what they had for lunch, and they had a good lunch today.
Boys, raise your hand when I call your name. Everybody pay attention. This is an X-Cup team. I'm proud of them, from the great state of Connecticut. Falcon Ewell from Avon, Connecticut. Ryan Zamboni from Meriden, Connecticut. Daniel Godwin from Clinton, Connecticut. Zachary Anglico from Rocky Hill, Connecticut. This is Central Connecticut State University's X-Cup team on their second go-around on Great Race in a 1961 Dodge Lancer. Love these kids getting out there seeing America. That's a pretty cool car, really funky lines on it. They're not going to run into another one of those at the Dairy Queen after a while.
Tom Gray from Louisville, Kentucky is driving. Vince Mattingly from Louisville is navigating in a 51 Packard Ultramatic. Team Shake and Bake, Sportsman's division. And they're actually got a pretty cool sponsorship this year. The first ever sponsorship for the Coker Classic Star Series tire. And Jason's better at speaking about that than I am, but they came out, the new production
Mercury Cougar XR7. If you listen carefully, you can hear some really funky electric guitar music every time this car comes around the corner. This is car 152. Keith Pope, Maurice Gagnon from Russell, Manitoba, Canada, in the funkiest 73 Cougar you've ever seen. Really cool car. These guys are smiling. This is their very first time on Great Race. They are rookies, but once. Be interesting to see if they're still playing the funky music next year when they.
A Survivor car, a 32 Ford 5-window coupe, a Kentucky barn find in this car. Christine LaMountain from Oxford, Massachusetts. Peter, her husband, over here in the navigator seat from Oxford. They are in the Sportsman division, and that's actually the original paint on that car that came out of that barn.
From Southborough, Massachusetts, in a beautiful 1971 Pontiac GTO convertible that belongs to Gail, mind you. Jack doesn't get to play with his car very often. Gail bought this car over 20 years ago because all the boys in the family had a cool car. I think you did right, Gail. I think they reconsidered what they'd gotten into when you got this thing brought home. This is very cool. Canyon copper, 400 cubic inch, 71 Pontiac GTO.
Got the family car up and running. This is Victor and Peggy Stanley from Sussex, Wisconsin. Victor's driving, Peggy's navigating in this 57 Ford Fairlane 500. Their team name's the Happy Honeymooners. And are y'all still happy? This was a rough rally day today. You were
love car guys and gals. The network is incredible. How about this 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air Coupe? Roger and Esther Shackett from Coral Springs, Florida, in their 13th grade race together, and they're still married. Are you kidding me? Absolutely awesome car. Roger and Esther have been around a long time. I've enjoyed. He's had this car 23 years, but my goodness, all but 10 of those you've been great racing in it. So this car went straight to work. I love that. It still shows well. Always a big smile on their face. They've got some vintage air in that car, so if you get to...
That's why they're smiling.
Yeah, that's why they're so happy, I think. You get to smile and you go...
A mom and daughter, the Silpies out of Palm Beach, Florida. Tracy's driving, Ava's riding along there, hanging out, telling mom where to go a little bit, maybe. In the Sportsman division, this is mom's 1970 Camaro Z28. My Carrot is the name of that because it's orange and because of the fact it's spelled like a diamond with a K. But mom likes diamonds, and we.
James over in Chelmsford, they are rookie division competitors. This is Team Fagawi. They're actually, who's in the back? They're having a rocking good time. I love this gold on this car. It's just so good for the early 70s style. I think half of the people sitting out here tonight probably had a bathroom with tiles that color, maybe a fridge and a stove that very same color. Wild color there.
Green option, but
kind of, yeah, 1968 to maybe 73. There was some really good mustards and avocados going around in kitchens and in car colors. His trusty navigator from Gillen, Alabama, Robert Dingus. They have been great racing a very long time. Robert started great racing in 1995. Curtis started in 1983, has never missed a great race. These guys have been around, Grand Champion Division guys. Curtis having won the race, the first race that Robert Dingus was ever in, Curtis won it as a separate team way back in 95. They went
from Essex Junction, Vermont, is navigating the Sportsman division. Pete Paul Motorsports, the name of their team. They've been competing in 8 great races and NARC rallies in this car, this team. Pete Paul Motorsports.
As Pete Paul, as any hot rodders here, that particular Volvo looks kind of like somebody took Mercedes-Benz Ponton 220S. Really neat car here. My friend Ollie Shake from Dallas, Texas, your driver, his trusty navigator, Mr. Adrian Bordelmay from Ponder, Texas. This is a really, really beautiful car. Is it a 4-speed? It's 4-speed on the column. Just leave it to the Germans to make that even more fussy than it already was. 4-speed on the column. This car sat on a movie studio lot for 22 years in Southern California.
Team 114 in a 1950 Ford Custom. Tony Fichter from Wolcottville, Indiana. Lovely bride, Sandy Fichter from Wolcottville, Indiana, is navigating. They're in the rookie division. The cool story about this car, not that there's not a lot of cool stories just about the fact that husband and wife in there traveling around the country together, but this car raced in the race last year with the Auburn, Indiana X-Cup team. And Tony and Sandy saw the race and went and made a deal with the Auburn Museum and bought the car, and now they are racing it.
Tams out of the great state of Michigan, welcome to Gettysburg. This car is a little more experienced than even they are. It's been in great race for a long time. It's had a few different flavors of paint on it. I kind of like the red frame rails and the orange. That's kind of old school. You can't really see in the black and white pictures, but a lot of the early brass cars had the wildest paint schemes. Like they just I don't know if they drank wine when they picked out the combos, but like the wheels and the front.
104, a 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 302. Lloyd Cranfield and Debbie Cranford and from Hoodton, Florida. In the rookie division, first race. Coming through in the family car, beautiful car, Team Boss, that lovely little 302. That's another one, kind of like that A66. This Boss 302 was the answer to the Z28 Camaro. That was the kind of the 5-liter limit there, the Trans Am, the 3 Ford GPW here. John Palmer from Bluefield Hills, Michigan, your driver. Owner of the little Jeep, John Eby from Scottsdale, Arizona, your navigator. Rookie division competitors, tired old men rally team. You're tired because you're wrestling that GPW up and down the road. I understand now why you named it. I got to meet these guys at our spring event in Michigan a couple of months ago. Team 143 in a 62 Chevrolet Nova. In the expert division, Aaron Liberty from St. Clair Shores, Michigan's driving. Ron Rowland from Smyrna, Georgia's navigating. Team Supernova, part of the Stalls Automotive Collection, and previously owned by great racer Rex Gardiner. An original inline 6-cylinder car. I know Aaron has raced several times, navigated, mostly driven. I navigated with her. Team number 59, Jim Shelley out of Naples, Florida. Tom Casera from Omaha, Nebraska, his navigator.
are the Hardway Racing team. I love the car. This is, just let it soak in for a hot second. This is the roomiest MGB that was ever made, for sure.
Pretty blue interior in that car. Getting their times figured out, their place for tomorrow. So when they come over here, they show the map to the volunteers. They put a sticker on there to show that that map is done.
Pontiac GTO convertible, Justin DePasquale from Fort Myers, Florida, your driver. Trusty navigator from Bahama, Maine, Bill Byer. He had a GTO back in the day, had to give it up to get married. It took him 17 years to get back in the GTO game and come great racing with us. That's no step for a stepper. That car looks absolutely beautiful, by the way. It's a 4-speed car, 65 Pontiac GTO convertible. Piece of furniture. I'm pretty sure you wax the front, polish the back. This is a 1930 Ford Model A boat tail speedster. Peter Brown from Freeport, Maine is driving. He's the lead mechanic at Seal Cove Auto Museum. Susan Nurse from Freeport, Maine is navigating. She's a retired police chief from Freeport. And they're in the Sportsman division. They participated in 2018, 19, 22, and 23. 1931 Ford Model A Victoria. Sportsman Carlos Pomeras from Bloomfield, New Jersey's driving. Stephen Martino from North Caldwell, New Jersey's navigating in their second great race. And still very affordable, and they're outstanding, accessible collector cars today. At Coker Tire Company, I think we've got four or five different fitments for Model A's alone. Actually cool. A cool entry car to great race rallying that would give you a good old car factor. A couple of years later, you could have got a B model. How about this 1934 Ford pickup truck? Patrick Lauber from Canton, Ohio is your driver. He pulled a trick on his friend Ron Smith and got him to get in the truck. Ron's from Avon Park, Florida. They're high school buddies from way back. No, I'm just kidding. Flathead Ford. Wisdom, that is the wisest of the 3-gen racing teams.
Some wise ones right here coming in. Team 91, the Fredettes, Jeff and Eric from Beecher, Illinois. Father-son team in a 33 Ford Model B pickup truck. They are grand champions. They're in the grand champion division. And 2018 from Buffalo, New York to Halifax, Nova Scotia, they won the whole thing. They represent Fredette Racing. And these boys right here, if you go on to greatrace.com and follow the race, you'll see this truck and get a good example of what this racing looks like. This truck, I'm pretty sure you can slide a piece of paper under this other front corner tire. It is on 3 wheels going around a turn.
Number 14, it is not an EV, right, Nate? No. It's actually a killer flathead. Fraser and Philip Metcalf from London, Ontario, Canada. Until Thursday, Philip. Awesome team, 1935 Ford 5-window coupe. It's awful quiet today, boys.
It's electric.
We need installed on it. A little, just need.
2 Datsun 240Z, Sam Madavi out of Atlanta, Georgia's driving. Doug Harris from Tulsa, Oklahoma's navigating. Rookies, first time ever in the great race. And cool story about this team, they're actually filming a 13 series show for Sam's Garage TV show. So Sam and Doug's race is being captured for that Sam's Garage TV show, and they're featuring it in the race in that 13 series episode series, and can't wait to see that come out sometime around September.
And that is a brothers, this is their 3rd great race. That car is still as slick as the first time I saw it. Man, that is a fine automobile.
Team 80 coming in, Eric Brown and Janice Brown from Moore Park, California. Eric's driving, Janice is navigating in this 52 MGTD. They're rookies in the rookie division. 20 years ago, they told us this car caught on fire. They weren't sure what to do. They went ahead and restored it and decided to bring it into the great race. Plenty of trunk room for the wife to pack everything she needs back there. We're not sure if Eric has anything packed with him. He's wearing the same underwear he's had on all week, I'm pretty sure, but she has her clothes and everything back there, makeup bag, and yeah, her hair's all fixed up.
I told him he's in racing team to the senior one that came through in the little 34 pickup truck. How's it going, guys? These are high school buddies doing the thing. They were about to find out. Give me a shout out if you did any work. Really, really cool to see them get their scores here. Car number 136, 1930 Ford Model A two-door sedan. Brian Smith from Owensboro, Kentucky. Scott Howard, the navigator, also from Owensboro. They got a real good team here. They had an awesome sort of a home going, leaving the Great Race start on Saturday morning. The team was strong there. They've gotten stronger ever since. This a rookie division competitor. When she came in, we had about 30 rookie cars last year and a motorcycle. She placed 4th out of all of those on that motorcycle. She's flipping that map. She's doing her own navigating, her own math, everything else that all these cars are doing. She's doing it herself in the elements. Yesterday it was pouring on her, or the day before. Car number 47, Carl and Mary Wade. Excellent competitors, friends of mine, 57 Porsche Speedster Tribute.
This is an X-Cup team out of the Maine Classic Car Museum. Team 161 in a 61 Cadillac Sedan DeVille. We've got Bram, Cotton, and Max in there. And we've added one. We've got Bram and Josie. That's right, we've got Josie in here. We added Josie. She's getting her times all figured.
Georgia 1964 Ford Falcon Country Squire. Really cool car. They're rookies. Team Dino Juice out for their first go-round this year. It's a rare two-door station wagon. Got a little small block Ford 302 Cobra engine in it. Coilovers and racing suspension. And that stuff's legal. It just changes your factor a little bit. Father and son team making memories, and an absolutely beautifully restored little Falcon wagon here. I told him my favorite.
64, another X-Cup team. This one's out of St. Louis, Missouri, out of the St. Louis Community College there. Automotive technology program, putting an X-Cup team in here. We've got Nathan and Josh, Christian, Kyle, Finn, and Will all represented in that team. And glad to see them here. They're driving a 72 Mercury Cougar XR7.
That's another one. The music gets pretty funky when they round the corner, for sure. I don't know how these dudes got into it. Jim McCormick, Mitch Finke from Stratton, Colorado. They're Sportsman division competitors in their 3rd great race. He says he screwed up in the first race. Their navigator, right? Or no, Jim just keeps letting him come.
Cougar Eliminator. Mark Pachowski from North Adams, Massachusetts is driving. David Wyrus from Merrimack, New Hampshire is navigating in a rookie division. They actually drove the car from Massachusetts to Owensboro, driving it to Maine and then back. Team Eliminator. It's pretty nice when they put that on the side of the car when they made it for you. And them in a 1971 AMC Javelin. Hank Mall from Emerald Isle, North Carolina is driving. Daryl Hedrick from Neosho, Missouri is navigating 71 AMC Javelin in the Sportsman division. They've competed in 6 great races, and you're from Alabama. They told us that for a while the Alabama State Troopers used that kind of car.
They did. It had a whole bunch of power, and I think it was light in the nose at 150 miles an hour. It turned out to be a terrible state trooper car in terms of its testing, but it was pretty legendary. Those cars in the great state of Alabama were silver with blue, a single big, huge candy machine light bar on the top. That's pretty slick. That's another one, I think, if you're into muscle cars, get you a Javelin or even an AMX and restore that guy and go to the cruise edge. You'll be about the only guy there with one of those cars. Car number 94, Tim and Marlene Mangan from beautiful Bend, Oregon in a 1965 Ford Fairlane. 8 years they've been great racing.